Yeah, I mean, like I think Coach has already said it. We felt like, in the second half we needed a little bit of a spark. Nick came in and did some good things, and we had to open it up a little bit more in the second half. We got down, and he was able to make some nice throws. Ben played okay. He missed some throws that wish we had back. Obviously, hitting Devois down the middle right before half would have tied the game up. That was huge. We had a call to C.J. O'Grady there midway through the second quarter, I think it was. He beats the guy, and we didn't get the call, but that was going to be a touchdown as well, as the guy was beat. And so those are the things that we got to hit. Obviously, the one to Devois would have tied the game, but Nick came in and did some nice things, threw the ball down the field well. Guys made plays for him and gave us a little bit of a spark. So we think it's his turn, and see what he does this week.
Coach is running back. Devois had a couple of opportunities in the passing game, but it looks like Boyd's the only guy that's really getting you some production, and aside from end arounds and stuff. How do you get these other guys, Chase and Devois, going in the run game?
Yeah, I mean, we just got to be more consistent up front, and making holes for those guys. I think Rakeem is running with more confidence right now than those other two guys. He's able to lower his shoulder and be his own blocker sometimes. And I think the biggest thing with those guys is just get them more confident, and they've played a lot of ball, and we got to get them more confident. Got to get them some more reps in practice, and try to keep bringing Monte along as well.
I mentioned the double pass went to the wrong side. If you could talk about the special plays and the Wildcat and how you think they worked and why the double pass thing didn't work.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question and hard to explain. Honestly, we've thrown that ever since the beginning of fall camp. We've worked that play, getting ready for that game. Every time we've ever done it, we've thrown it to Traylon Burks, and so it's just one of those things, man, that just messed it up. They screwed it up, and we got to coach it better. We got to make sure that they understand that, and obviously we had C.J. wide open down the field for a touchdown if we throw it to the right guy. So.
See that thing behind me? You see this thing behind me? It's the A, and it's brought to you by On the Hill Sports Talk Radio, coming to you on KDSJ 479, and came in with a little audio. A lot of people wanted to know why Nick Starkel was named the starting quarterback. You hear it from the head hog, but that's not going to convince you. So we thought we'd let you hear it from the guy that has a lot of insight as to why he won it. Head offense coordinator and quarterback coach Joe Craddock came in with audio from Joe, and want to bring in real quick my producer, co-host Demetrius Johnson, before we get this lineup started. And this thing behind me gets started too. It's the A edition, and we're so excited to get this thing started. But real quick, Demetrius, Nick Starkel, depth chart, tough ball game tomorrow, and Donald W. Reynolds. What are some of your game keys? We won't go into players of the game or anything because that's later in the show, but what are some of the key points that you will be looking for? We've had a chance to digest this football team for 2 weekends, at home and at Ole Miss. What's next for you to watch?
You know what I'm saying? I'm going back to those coaches. I'm trying to see how these coaches will manage the game from an offensive and defensive play calling. From the defensive side, I want to see how they're going to rotate players better in on their back end. And then I want to see from an offensive standpoint better play calling from Coach Craddock.
Now, coming up here in a few moments, Arkansas head basketball coach Eric Musselman met with the media to talk a little bit about the red-white game. He's taking it back to the bud, or the barn, I should say, something that a lot of the older fan base really has never forgotten and has always held a high special place. Demetrius, going back to the barn, What do you think this is going to mean for the younger generation, the students that maybe didn't get a chance to go through the barn, but hear stories from their parents that maybe have attended the university or either had tickets and just happened to come to the ball games? How special would this be, do you think, when you're trying to reestablish the tradition here in basketball?
I think it's huge. I think from a coaching standpoint, it builds a relationship with Coach Musselman with a lot of the old boosters. And I think that's important anytime you have a college program. You have to be in tune and you have to have a relationship with the boosters. They're the one that's going to really support you and give you the financial assistance that you need to be a great program. And then, again, just bringing that tradition back, I think it gives this younger generation and understand what a true Razorback fan is in the golden age of being a Razorback. So, again, I think it's going to be great. I've never had the privilege of seeing a game played in Barnhill, so it's gonna be a moment for me, just to go back and kind of dwell on the past, from going in there, seeing the banners up. The gym's a little smaller than Bud Walton, so it's gonna be rocking. So I think it's gonna be a festive environment.
From a guy from my standpoint, it's kind of going to be like taking a walk back in time. I mean, you had a chance to watch the great Sidney Moncrief and the triplets. You had Old Mayday, Oliver Miller, Todd Day, Lee Mayberry, Lindsey Howe, those guys. You've had a chance to see the end, the era when Tim, I forgot Tim's last name, came in, big-time guard for Arkansas the night Danny and the Miracles came into Barnhill Arena, and he was able to really take it to the next level. Then you see that era with UNLV, and from that moment on, you're able to watch Corliss and the Ruston Rifle, Corey Beck, and that group that we all know went on to win the national championship. And then I'll never forget the last ball game in Barnhill Arena with Shaquille O'Neal, Hall of Famer, NBA Hall of Famer, just a great basketball players like Hakeem Olajuwon, Clyde Drexler. So many guys came through Barnhill Arena. So that night on October 5th will be special for me. And just to make a note, we want to give a few announcements on that game. It'll be Saturday, October 5th. Time will be 3 p.m. Doors will open at 1:30. Tickets are free, general admission seating, and there'll be a post-game autograph session with some of the guys. But I believe we're going to momentarily have audio later in the show for Coach Musselman. But we're going to be back and get this thing started. It's time to get into the A. And you know where we start first? Always with my good buddy, Scotty Borderland of the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. He's up next. It's on the Hill, and it's the A. Let's get it.
We're all disappointed in the outcome. There's no denying that. We made entirely too many mistakes, had too many costly penalties and inopportune times of the game, and we missed entirely too many tackles. We couldn't sustain any momentum. That once we got it on our side, we couldn't hold it. I thought offensively we were very poor on first down efficiency in the first half especially. Didn't think we matched their physicality, both inside and out on the edge, on the perimeter blocking. We had 3 costly penalties, and we had some opportunities, and we couldn't capitalize on them. We all got to get better. We got to help grow these players up quick. We got a lot of inexperience at times, and it shows. But it's on all of us to put them in a position to play fast, and it starts with me. Defensively, thought our defense kept us in the game, especially in the first 3 quarters. We scored on defense, created some momentum, gave us a chance, but they were on the field entirely too long. Our defense was. We had too many missed tackles, more than I can remember of the past. We had a couple critical third down penalties that kept drives alive, and we just couldn't overcome it. And I thought special teams, we didn't do anything special to impact the game. I do think that there was a bright spot there with 2 nice punt returns with Traylon Burks. That was promising. We had a chance to come away with points right before half and couldn't capitalize on that. But we all got to respond, and that's what this is about. That's what it was about yesterday when these guys come in here. It was about after the game. It starts with me, and it truly is about a response.
Welcome back. It's the A edition. It's our Friday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. And real quick, I'll be remiss not to mention our sponsors real quick. Lindsay and Associates, Corey Beck's Custom Painting, Locomotion, and KDK's Chicken. I want to give a shout out and thank you to all those really, really sweet sponsors. And now on to the A's. Time to get into it. Time to talk a little football, but we're going to mix a little basketball in there too along the way. So what better way to get into it than a good friend that loves to join the show, and we love having him, Scotty Borland of the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Scotty B, welcome to OTH, my man.
Thanks for having me again, Pat. I appreciate it.
Talk about this upcoming ball game, Scotty. Starkle takes over. What have you seen? As we're always made, the first 20 minutes, and I don't know what you can see in 20 minutes on Tuesday and Wednesday, but what's been your general take of this Arkansas offense heading into Saturday with Nick as the guy that'll take that first snap, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think the thing that stands out about Starkle, especially just from what he did last week, and the ball came out of his hand real quick, and that I think helped Arkansas just get those 6 to 8, 9 yard, 10-yard gains more regularly than they did in the first half. Starkle was a perfect 6 for 6 on those intermediate throws, 6 to 10 yards downfield, which is pretty solid. Ben Hicks, he was 0 for 4 on passes between 6 and 15 yards last week too. So that intermediate game wasn't really there. I think that's something Starkle can give you with a lot more consistency than Ben Hicks. And we know that Starkle can push the ball down the field. He had 13 pass attempts of more than 11 yards last week. Almost picked up 140 yards on those. So just stretching the field a little bit more, I think he'll be able to give you that. But he's going to be looking for guys like Mike Woods, Trey Knox, Traylon Burks, those guys down the field. So I expect Arkansas to have probably the best passing game.
I'm sorry, Scott. That's the thing that I'm really looking at. 21 of 29, 72%, 249 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. I mean, when we met with Chad on Monday when he named Nick the starter, one of the things that he had mentioned was Nick's ability with the element of the deep threat to be able to get that box of 8, kind of get them to back up. I mean, how important will that be tomorrow? Because let's face it, Scotty, this is going to be a very experienced defensive team that Colorado State's bringing in here.
Yeah, it's definitely important. And I remember last year, I think after the season opener, Chad Morris kind of touched on, how many explosive plays that they want to have on offense. And I think he said they wanted to have 6, which is, I think, about 10 to 12 yards rushing, and I think 15 plus in the passing game. And, with Nick Starkle at quarterback, I think that Arkansas is definitely going to hit that number and probably bypass it a pretty good margin on Saturday. I just see the ball come out of his hands so much better. And we were watching practice the other day, and just the way the ball comes out of his hands, he can whip it around pretty much anywhere he wants. He's got to be careful, I guess, in a way, for to not turn the ball over in key situations. And he's got to have more wherewithal as far as lining guys up, making sure they're in the right position. That he's definitely got the arm talent. It's been impressive to watch, and I don't think there's any doubt they're going to take some shots down the field. I think they understand. I think there's a little bit of restlessness with the offense, and they definitely want to go out and put on a good show.
The one thing I've always been a proponent of, and people that's heard the show has heard me say this, and you've heard me. We talked about it over at the practice field. If you're good in the box, you're good over the top. Last year, Arkansas was more than good in the box as they amassed close to 300 yards. I believe Debois Whaley went from 165. I believe Chase had 50 plus, as well as Rakeem Boyd. Talk about that element of the football game, because Arkansas needs to get more from Debois and Chase this weekend, I believe, to kind of, take a little bit of that pressure off and, like you said, be good over the top where Nick Starkle and that young wide receiver core like Woods and those guys can get going.
Yeah, definitely. I think it kind of goes hand in hand, too. I think if Starkle comes out and has some success throwing the ball down the field, that's not going to allow the safeties to kind of creep into the box and take the runaway. So I think if Arkansas finds some success there, hitting those intermediate routes to deep balls, That would go a long way in, freeing up Rakeem Boyd, who can, the offensive line doesn't have to block things perfectly for him to pick up 4, 5, 6 yards at a time. But I think Chad and Joe Craddock would definitely like to see Chase and Devlot get going. Those guys have been pretty non-existent in the first 2 weeks in terms of running the ball. Rakeem's had a couple passes that he's called out of the backfield for solid games.
Right.
But yeah, they've really got to get going because the strength of the running back room is the depth in that room. Rakeem's a great place to start, but if Devlot can get on track, then that doesn't really give defense a break once Rakeem comes off the field.
When you look at this team, still yet, the big thing that we all understand is 52 underclassmen reside on this football team, which there's going to be some growth and maturation problems. Arkansas, 5 true freshmen have started during the first 2 games of the season, 3 offensively, 2 defensively. There's been about 12 or more contributing on the 2 deep chart. Let's talk about the depth and it's maybe rough if you're a Razorback fan, but from the media standpoint, Scotty, do you see some growth with these younger guys each and every time they get these game reps, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think so. And what I'm kind of going to be looking for on Saturday is just to see, how much immediate impact playing on the road in the SEC had on some of those young guys. Like, Mateo Soli's probably going to, I think he's in line for his first start this weekend. We'll see how he kind of rolls that performance over last weekend into this week. He's probably not playing the same caliber of offensive line that he saw last week. So we'll see if he can, make a few splash plays, get into the backfield, some tackles for loss, maybe get after the quarterback a little bit. Yeah, I expect we'll definitely see some of the freshmen, in the secondary. We haven't seen a whole lot of Devin Bush yet, Jalen Catalon either. So maybe this, if Arkansas can take care of business, maybe those guys can get in. And, even if they don't, I know John Chavis talked earlier this week about Arkansas's starters in the secondary playing far too many snaps.
Right.
Defense itself is playing way too many snaps as it is because the offense can't stay on the field. But those guys in the secondary, they you need them fresh for the fourth quarter. And the best way to do that is to just, sub a few guys in that do have some fresh legs for maybe a series or 2 and have them ready to go for the fourth quarter. Yeah, those freshmen, they got thrown in the fire last week, so we'll see how they respond after that.
We've got about 4 or 5 minutes left in the segment, and for those that have just tuned in, we're talking with Arkansas Democrat Gazette Scotty Borderland, talking a little Arkansas football, but now Scotty also gives us the take on the must bust. Eric and his staff just rolled in, and Scotty, I want to touch base on that basketball program. You, during the media availability with Coach Musselman as he was talking about the upcoming red-white game, you posed a great question. You talked about the staff and how he came about choosing or selecting the 3 coaches that he was able to get in here. Talk about that and, for the future going forward toward this season, not very, very big, but what's going to be your early expectation as you get into watching practice?
Yeah, I'll start with the staff. Like, I just, I'm hoping to get to talk to some of those guys pretty soon. They've been on staff for a little while, but we don't really know just a ton about them, just aside from what's in their bio on Arkansas's website. But I asked Chad just what appealed to him about those 3 guys that he hired: Clay Moser, Corey Williams, and Chris Crutchfield. And he started with Corey Williams. He said that he wanted a former Division I head coach, and he wanted a former NBA player. That's also got some solid recruiting relationships, and I think Corey Williams checked that box for him. And Clay Moser's got, he's got plenty of professional experience, and as of last year he was in Los Angeles with LeBron James, so it doesn't get much better than that as far as dealing with top level professional athletes, and he'll be able to relate a little bit to the younger guys a little bit. And then Chris Crutchfield, he wanted another guy that had strong recruiting ties. I think he obviously helped bring Trey Young and Buddy Hield over to Oklahoma. So that was that's definitely that's a highlight for any recruiter. You go get two guys that had an impact that Trey Young and Buddy Hield did at a school. That's a big plus on your resume. And he just wanted a guy that kind of knows the area, knows the region, knows Oklahoma really well. And spent 5+ years there, so I think he likes what he's got in those guys. We'll see, just from a player, what they bring from a player development standpoint. I think that's obviously maybe pretty big. You obviously want to see a jump with a new staff. You want to see a jump in your first year compared to what they played at previous staff.
Well, last question. We got about a minute. Give me your offensive player, defensive player, and the score of tomorrow's 3 p.m. kickoff versus Arkansas and the Colorado State Rams.
Yeah, on the offensive side, I might go. I wrote on Mike Woods today. He had a career game at Ole Miss last week. I think he's going to have another big day, kind of add on to what he did in the SEC opener. I think he might go for a touchdown, maybe push 100 yards receiving. Defensively, I might go. Yeah, I might go with Mateo Soli. See if he can get in the backfield and blow some things up, and maybe get after the quarterback. I think that defensive line, those guys have to get after the quarterback. As Javis said on Monday, that Colin Hill's an NFL type quarterback, NFL caliber arm, so they've got to move him off the spot. I think Mateo Soli can do it. Once he sees that club running at him, he's probably going to want to get down.
Well, Scotty, we appreciate you coming on, and we'll touch base in the press box tomorrow. But, hey, have a blessed one, and thanks for taking time out here on OTH, my man.
You bet. Always enjoy it.
That was Scotty Borderland of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette giving us his take on the tomorrow's ball game. Kickoff 3 p.m. at Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium between Arkansas and the Colorado State Rams. And we've got more. We caught up with Coach Eric Musselman. He'll tell you a little bit about why they went back and brought a little tradition back to Barnhill. And then following him, the Pig Trail Nation's own Alyssa Orange. We'll get her take of tomorrow's big game versus CSU and the Hogs. It's on the Hill, and it's the 8 on KDSJ 479. Let's get it.
Very good. All right, Chris, you can start off with a quick statement.
Yeah, obviously, thanks so much for coming out. We're really excited about what's gone on here in the last couple months as far as guys getting ready. We're a couple weeks away from having that 4-hour period of time a week lifted to 20 hours where we officially start practice, and we couldn't be more excited about having a throwback game and honoring our past and playing a game here in Barnhill. We think it'll be awesome for the fans, and again, there's just so much tradition and history here that we kind of wanted to have a fun night, and hopefully everybody will enjoy it, and we'll open it up for any questions.
Well,
I guess, Eric, what was the inspiration for this? Was it your idea? Did somebody mention to you? How did this come about?
I mean, I think that any decision that we make is always, our whole staff, like the coaching staff, the administration, marketing. We're constantly trying to throw different ideas at each other and come up with different things. I've stated a ton that growing up in San Diego, California, as a young person, that Arkansas was I know all the history really, really well, and we felt like a throwback night. Our players wearing Team Eddie and Team Nolan uniforms, and maybe we can get the fans interested in dressing up, in some throwback gear themselves, and I just felt like a traditional red and white game. It's kind of been done in the past, and to do something new and different, and this might be the only time that we play basketball back here, and so it's a kind of a neat thing.
As far as your schedule that was announced in general, just what do you feel about it, and how do you feel the non-conference will prepare you for the SEC?
Yeah, we feel like it's a very challenging non-conference, especially.
Welcome back. It's the A edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. As we like to bring everything Razorbacks to get you ready for tomorrow's 3 p.m. kickoff versus the Colorado State Rams and the Arkansas Razorbacks. And we got to have her. I mean, she was on a trip, and when it's a long trip, sometimes you get tired and you fall asleep, but she's so good, we had to forgive her because she's on point. We'll bring back the Pig Trail Nation's Alyssa Orange. Hey, welcome back to the Hill.
Hey, thank you. Hey, I appreciate you giving me a pass on the football. Much appreciated.
Big game tomorrow, Alyssa. Arkansas. If you're, you have to believe if you're one of those players that was on that field a year ago, there has to be a revenge factor. Now they're not talking about it, but when you're around, and we've had the media availability with the coaches and the players that were involved in that, what's been your take heading into tomorrow's 3 p.m. kickoff?
It's interesting because, yes, it's a revenge game, I think, for Arkansas. And I think they're looking at it like, we lost, but a win slipped away from us last year on the road. We cannot let that happen again, especially in Fayetteville. But when you ask a lot of the guys, and especially Jack Larsley answered on this week, that, you can say that, but also, a look at wanting to play better from last week. And so they're kind of taking that approach of not going back necessarily to last year, but last week, and how they want to improve on playing the way they played against Ole Miss. And so that's kind of been really interesting. That they're like, look, we didn't play well against Ole Miss. We just want to play better this year or this week and have a better game plan and not necessarily worry about what happened last year.
It seems to me, Alyssa, when you look at this ball game, it's going to come down to the quarterback. Two guys that were not even a part of the football game in Colorado Springs a year ago, with that being a returning quarterback who was out, Colin Hill, and then newly appointed quarterback Nick Starkel. Talk about that matchup and how important do you think that that's going to be as to decide who wins and who's going to go home with the L?
I think the offense is going to be huge for both teams. Colin Hill has been very impressive this year for Colorado State. Their offensive line, which is read stuff that the people who cover Colorado State have been writing, the offensive line was really the weakest link. They coming into the season. They've really impressed the people this year. Have definitely taken people back and go, whoa, okay, these guys have something to prove. And this is a Colorado State offense that is averaging 34.5 points per game in their first two games. They put up 31 against Colorado, lost that game, but then last week they put up, I believe, 38 and 35. So they're going to score points. And so when you say that, you then have to look at Arkansas's offense and say, how do you score points? Because it's something that they haven't really done much of these first two games. This offense has got to get rolling. I don't know if that's the play calling, if it's knowledge. I thought it was interesting. Nick Starkel took full responsibility for that botched play where he threw to Mike Woods on accident. When he first time he said, take full responsibility, I didn't know the play. And you could beg the question, what are you doing calling a play that Nick Starkel doesn't know? So what's the game plan going to look like? How are they going to execute? And if you listen to anything on the Big Trail shows and on our Facebook Live the past couple of days, I mentioned this also. Arkansas' defense is playing well. I'm not going to give them a whole lot of credit and say they're playing great, but they're playing well.
Right.
John Davis like 3 turnovers per game. Right now, that defense has 5. Had 3 week 1, 2 last week. You know how many points the offense has scored off of those turnovers back? 0. That's the biggest issue. If your football team and your defense is going to turn the ball over and get you the ball back, you got to put points on the board.
When you look at this team, Alyssa, last year, Delwar Whaley, and you and I, and we all understand that you have to have more than one running back. Rakeem Boyd is going to have to get some more help at that position. But Delwar went for 165. I think Arkansas, all 3 of those running backs had pretty good days in Colorado Springs as they went for about 299 yards on 53 carries. Talk about getting Chase and Debois really, really involved and finding a way to get them going. I know Whaley's put it on the ground twice already, but what can they do to get those two going? Because it's going to be really important with them being the 2 experienced guys that they have to get going for this team offensively to be able to establish a really solid running game.
Yeah, they really got to get that running game going. When I say running game, I'm not talking about King David. I'm not worried about him. I'm talking about everybody else. You got to be able to rotate those guys. We thought that this running back room from the beginning of fall camp was one of the most experienced rooms on this team. And they are. They just haven't shown it yet. While Whaley has had a few mistakes the first couple of games, fumbles, missed some passes, and bring in a lot of that wasn't just his fault. But what about Chase Davis? You know, they said in Monte's 5, he's coming along. So when is that going to start to add up? Because it can't just be routine delays.
Right.
It can't be. You've got to be able to put Devois back there. You've got to be able to put Chase Davis back there. Give them different looks in that running back position so that teams on defense don't get comfortable. You know, you keep doing the same thing. You keep doing the wild balls so many times. People don't figure it out. So they need to continue to get better there, but also I think a lot of that run game success will also come on a passing game. Yeah. And if they can find a way to get it going a little bit, to get it consistent, then that's going to take a lot of pressure off that run game.
This team at Colorado State's averaging 351 passing yards in the first 2 games. Alyssa, quite obviously, hence Arkansas, you know, and Coach Chavis talked on Monday about getting a little bit more depth back there in the back end with guys like Jalen Catalon, Devin Bush, Ladarius Bishop, Miles Mason. How important is it that these guys get into tomorrow's game and they get a real solid rotation of about 7 or 8 guys against such a, you know, what's early on in the season, a very vaunted Colorado State passing attack?
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, John Chavis and Chad Morris talked about it on Monday, how they've got to get those guys reps. And in the Ole Miss game, they kept the guys, the starters in there because the game was close and they wanted to try to change momentum. And they didn't put those guys in there, but you've got to be able to build up some depth with you and Catalan and Miles Mason and those guys. And I apologize, by the way. I'm at home playing Mom. My son doesn't feel good, so you might hear him start crying a little bit in the background.
You're
I'm
all
sorry.
right.
So I might have to go play Mom in a second. But that's important, and it's going to be important in the long run. But you've got to be able to rotate those guys, just like John Davis talked about with Judah Harris. He doesn't want Judah playing every snap. I guarantee you he doesn't want guys like Cameron Curl, Joseph Shea to be first snap either, because he wants them fresh as possible, and that's going to be by building depth and getting Jalen Catalon and Miles Mason some rest.
Last question before I let you go so you can play Mom, Melissa. Give me your offensive player of the game and give me your defensive player of the game. And what's your final score in Donald W. Reynolds tomorrow?
All right, well, offensively, I'm going with the guy I went with last week, DJ O'Grady. He's a playmaker. He's a difference maker. I've told you that, Pat. They need to make him the difference in this game.
Right.
He needs to get going. He needs to be the guy that you can lean on in the passing game offensively. Defense-wise, I like Sosa Agnew. We've heard a lot about the offensive line for Colorado State. They've got some weaknesses. I want to see if he can penetrate, get some pressure on the quarterback. My prediction, man, I had to give one earlier in the week, and I wish I remember. I think I said 28-24 Arkansas. It's close one.
Good.
So that's what I'm going to go with.
Well, Alyssa, as always, thanks for taking time out. I hope the little one gets to feeling better, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow in the press box.
Awesome. Thanks, Pat.
All right.
See you later. Talk to you next week.
That was a Big Trail Nation's own Alyssa Orange giving us her take on the big, and I think this is a must-win. I know this is a must-win, Demetrius, but we're going to take a real quick break and bring up our good buddy, find out more about Arkansas in this upcoming football game, and who's going to be taking some officials or official visits to the university in the Hill to visit Coach Mo and even Coach Muss, I believe. And then, you know what we always do. It's the Pat, Otis, and Demetrius Picks of the Week. That's coming up all next. It's on the Hill, and it's the 8 on KDSJ 479. Let's get it.
There's no denying that. We made be able to run the football. I mean, that's number one. It always starts with running the football and create explosive plays.
Chad, you basically at defensive end, you got Gabe and a bunch of freshmen. How's Gabe doing leading such a young group? How do you think he played? How did Mateo, maybe some of those other guys play, and do you have an update on Bell? And if he can't come back, just kind of what do you see for that position being so inexperienced?
Yeah, I don't see Jamario back this week. We'll wait and see. I think it's probably going to be another week. I thought Gabe did some really good things. I thought we had a few mistakes, but you know, and he and I have talked about that, about leading those young guys. You know, Zach Williams, Colin Clay, Mateo Soli, and just helping show those guys. And a lot of those young guys that are out there the first time. I mean, you know, you can prepare them and you can talk to them about what it's fixing to be like on the road in the SEC, but until you just get in there and go do it. And I thought Gabe and those guys have done a good job, Scooter and Sosa, of helping kind of, you know, share with those guys what to expect. And they played well. I thought that Zach Williams gives us some speed off the edge. I thought he did some really good things. Soli is very powerful, going to have a great career. Colin Clay is a force. Again, just getting these young guys the experience that they need to get to continue to grow.
Welcome back to our Friday edition. It's our A edition, brought to you by On the Hill Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, each and every day, Monday through Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. But we want to continue on as Arkansas is getting prepared to take on and host the Colorado State Rams tomorrow in Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium. And we thought we'd continue on with a good buddy and a guy that I know knows a lot about what's going to happen or possibly tomorrow. And also, we're going to talk to this guy about who are some visitors coming up with. And his name is Otis Kirk of Hogville.net. Otis, happy birthday once again, my man, and welcome to the Hill.
It's just another day at my age, Sam. But glad to see another one. I don't know how much I know. I'm the same more. I picked them to beat Ole Miss last week. So, but no, I mean, knew it could go either way. But it's good. I'm ready for a game. This is a big game tomorrow, man. This is a big game tomorrow.
Biggest matchup, Otis. I think that I think more people will come to the stadium and really, focus in on is the two quarterbacks. These guys, neither were a part of last year's ball game, as Colin Hill got injured, wasn't able to play. He's come back his redshirt junior year, and then Nick Stark will be in a grad transfer here to Arkansas. New guys, new setting, everything's new. What's the is this the big matchup as to who wins and who loses this ball game tomorrow at 3:00?
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, I mean, you want to say the Arkansas secondary against Hill, but you can say, the quarterback that plays the best, their team may win. Will probably win tomorrow, Pat. Here's the thing: they say that the quarterback gets too much blame when they lose and too much, credit when they win, and that's probably true. But tomorrow that may be the case. I think the quarterback that plays the best will probably lead his team to victory. I could see a case where maybe Hill has better statistics, but Arkansas gets a big game. Because the reason I'm hedging on all this, what I was thinking about, Pat, was last year Arkansas Devwall Whaley ran wild against them up in Fort Collins. And I'm just thinking, what I was thinking is Hill might have the better stats at the end of the day. I don't know that he will, but he could. But Starkle does the things it needs for Arkansas to win, and the running game helps him out. Which, like I said, I don't know if they can run the ball against Colorado State like they did last year, but Devwall really ran well against them last year, and so did Hakeem, so I do think the quarterback maybe that has the better game, that his team will win. And that, let me just put it this way, the end it kind of, maybe not statistically, but plays the best over complete game might lead the team to victory tomorrow.
When you look at this defensive front for Arkansas tomorrow, there's going to be roughly 4 to 5, at least 4 true freshmen that'll be playing, getting that initial third game reps, and also too when you look at Isaiah Nichols, he's a redshirt freshman. Talk about how important it is, Otis, at that position that they play at least winning defensive line football in tomorrow's game. We all talk about Colorado State has some problems on that offensive line, and they too have a true freshman. Talk about that line of scrimmage battle and how big is that?
Well, I think Arkansas. This is where Sosa, Gabe Richardson, T.J. Smith, and some of those guys really have to step up and have a big game. I think Matthias Soley could have a big game. I mean, I was impressed with Zach Williams last week. That's the one that nobody's really talked about that I thought played pretty well last week. I mean, just to the naked eye, I mean, he ran down some plays and stuff, showed the speed that we know he has. And so, yeah, no, I think Arkansas, I mean, you always got to feel like the team that wins the line of scrimmage will win the game. And, I mean, Arkansas's defensive line has got to find a way to put pressure on Hill. They can't let him sit back and pick them apart because I don't care how good your defensive backs are or anything. If the quarterback's got all day to throw, probably going to find somebody open. That's just the way it works. And so, yeah, I mean, Arkansas's defensive line, I mean, I look for a game to maybe have a big game tomorrow. I'll tell you, Gabe Richardson's been playing. He hasn't been getting a whole lot of attention, but there's a guy that's been playing fairly well at times, you know, this season. So, and it's good for him because, I mean, this is a kid that's been here. This is his third year. He's never really got to play that much consistently, and he is this year. He's got a lot dumped on him, and, you know, and the fact that the other two, they had 3 defensive ends, 2 of them got hurt, seniors I'm talking about. And, you know, I mean, he's taken on, not only is he taking on an additional role on the field, he's taking on an additional leadership role off the field. And that's why I'm really proud of Gabe. So I'm real proud of him. And then Sosa played well. He had a really good game in that opener. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does tomorrow.
We got about 2 minutes before we get into our picks, Otis. I know you always want home games to be very, very important games, in particular for recruiting. Can you throw us out about 2 or 3 visitors that'll be in Fayetteville to check out Coach Mo and that program?
Yeah, Imarian Arias, I saw him play last weekend, last Friday night, Pat, and I'm telling you, you know this as well as I do. This kid's a stud.
Absolutely.
I mean, he may be a 5-star eventually. This is a big-time player. Mason Brotherton's a kid that I know his family used to work for his grandfather for a little while down in Mena. 6'4", 235-pound tight end that is coming up this weekend. And Arrington McRae is a kid from Harbor that I really liked. It was at Alabama last weekend. 6'3", 230, another 2021 tight end. So those are 3 kids that are going to be here. In fact, Joe T's going to have 6 of them here.
Wow. Well,
Connor Wood's a kicker from, I'll be real quick on this one, from Lexington, Tennessee, that I saw, a kicker punter that was here at the specialist camp this summer, Pat, that looked good to me, too.
Well, when Demetrius gets that fired up, we're going to kick this thing off. I mean, who's winning this thing right now? Because I've been doing horrible. Otis D says he's winning as he cues up the music. He says he's winning. We're going to start.
He's winning?
Yeah,
well, he probably is. He's going against me because my picks haven't been that great this year, man. Tennessee's killing me. Tennessee is absolutely brutally killing me, man. I went with them last week. I know some of you guys picked BYU, but I picked Tennessee. They're killing me, man.
I stayed with the SEC and lost that one, but I believe we're ready to roll. Well, here we go. First game, we're going to go. Auburn will take on Kent State. Who we going, Otis?
Auburn.
Big
SEC.
I'm going with the Tigers as well. Arkansas State goes down between the hedges and plays the Georgia Bulldogs.
Otis. Georgia. Gotta go with Georgia, man.
Oh, he's talking today. I'm gonna go with the Bulldogs as well. LSU host Northwestern State.
LSU, I picked against them last week. I'll go with them this week, though.
Okay.
Bayou Bangers, baby. I'm a fan this year. You can put me down as a LSU fan.
I'm going to say this. They call it Death Valley for a reason, and I think, something to that effect will take place. I'm going to take the Tigers as well. Ole Miss host Southeast Louisiana. Otis?
I'll go with Ole Miss. They should win this one.
Deep.
Ole Miss.
Hotty toddy. Once again, I'm taking Ole Miss. Missouri will take on Southeast Missouri.
got to go SEC, Missouri.
I'm going Mizzou. I'm going MIZZOU as well. Tennessee, can they get their first one versus Chattanooga, Otis?
They killed me 2 weeks in a row. I'm gonna give them one more chance. I'm going with Tennessee again. Yeah,
Man.
they better win this one.
Demetrius?
What game is this?
Oh, Tennessee and Chattanooga.
Man, I'm going Chattanooga.
Yeah. And Otis, I'm like you. I'm gonna stick with the SEC, and I'm gonna give them one more opportunity. If at first you don't succeed once, twice, try for another time. We'll take Tennessee in that ball.
Hold on, Pat. I gotta stay on the winning side.
Man,
let me switch it up. Tennessee will get their first victory against Chattanooga. Let me
they
switch
lose
it up.
this game. They may be looking for a coach.
Next one up, Lamar will take on the Texas A&M Aggies. Otis?
I'll go with the Aggies.
D?
Get them.
I'll take it in C-Stat. We're going with the Aggies. I think they respond really, really well. Next ball game up. We're going to start stepping it up a little bit. Florida travels to the Bluegrass State. Takes on the Wildcats. Where we at, Otis?
I'm taking Florida because Kentucky lost their quarterback last week, that we saw at a camp here at Arkansas a few years ago. I'm going to go with Florida. I would have gone with Florida anyway, but I really think they'll win this one.
See, thanks to Otis, he gave me an insight on that pick because I was going to gamble with Kentucky, but since he said their starting quarterback is, I will have to believe in Felipe. So I'm going to go Florida.
Man, I think just with the quarterback being out, I'm still kind of shaky on Felipe Franks. I don't think he's had the senior year that many expected, but I'm still going to stay with that defense because I think they might just be a little bit better, and I'll take the Gators in with that one as well. Next up, Kansas State travels to Starkville to take on the Bulldogs. Where we at, Otis?
Could be a good one. I'll go with Mississippi State, but that could be a good one. I'll go with them because they're home.
Okay.
I'm going to go Mississippi State too, but I think it's going to be a close game.
I'll take Hail State. Now we turn the heat up just a little bit more. We head down to Columbia, South Carolina, where you got the Gamecocks taking on Roll Tide. Where we at, Otis?
I'd love to see South Carolina beat them. Anybody whines about playing in the heat, I'm tired of that. I'll go with Alabama. I hope they get beat. I hope I miss this pick.
I think in the words of Lil Biscuit, I think his song goes, keep rolling, rolling, rolling. So I'm going to have to go Bama this week.
Hey, I think it's going to be a good game. I think Helinski being the quarterback has added some extra energy down there for that ball game in Williams-Brice. But still yet, too much Tua, too much Judy, too much Lee, too much Suggs, just too much Alabama, period. I'm taking Alabama in that ball game. And the game that you and I and Demetrius and everybody in Fayetteville, Arkansas will be focusing on, Colorado State and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Give me your offensive player, defensive player, and final score. Otis?
Arkansas wins 40. I'll go 38-35 Arkansas. Offensive player of the game, I'm going to go with Starkle. And defensive player of the game, hey, man, I'm going to go with Kim Curl again. I mean, that guy's played lights out so far.
He's had a good one. Can't go wrong. Demetrius?
We'll go Arkansas 31, Colorado State 20-something.
And player, offensive and defensive player of the game.
I'm going to go... No, I'm going to go Trey Knox. I think Trey Knox has a coming out party.
Good one.
Defense, defense is hard. I'm going to say somebody in the secondary. I want to say Greg Brooks because I think a lot of people are going to try to attack him just based off what they saw off their Ole Miss film. So I'm going to say Greg Brooks. He steps up and have a better game than last week.
I'm going to finish it up because we got a couple minutes. I'm going to go offensive player, C.J. O'Grady. Defensive player, I'm going to go Miles Mason. I think Miles at the safety spot. I think he's going to make a couple plays that are going to be game-changing. And then I'm going to go Arkansas, and the final score is 34-20. I think Arkansas wins this game 34-20. They gain revenge and kind of get some momentum going before they head to Jerry's World in a couple of weeks. But Otis, want to thank you for taking time out to give us all your insight and take part in these picks. We'll also catch up with you in the press box tomorrow, my man.
You bet. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a safe trip over there to Fayetteville, or to the U of A tomorrow.
All right.
Okay.
That was Otis Kirk of Hogville.net wrapping things up with us as we're going to wrap up the A, Demetrius. I want to say thank you for my producer for taking care of all the production that takes on. I want to give a shout out real quick to our sponsors, Lindsay and Associates, with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also too in Rogers. Locomotion, located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall in Fayetteville, and Corey Beck's Custom Painting. Commercial, residential, anything that you need to look good, contact Corey Beck. You won't be disappointed. And our newest sponsor, KDK's Chicken. Now, if you're out and about, you're going up Razorback Road, listen to me, people. Those that are traveling to Fayetteville, Arkansas tomorrow, it's at 989 Razorback Road. Go get some chicken chunks. Go get waffle cones. Go get waffles. Go get fries. Go get chicken wings, barbecue. Just have it all. They got it all. Go see Keith and Kathy. I'm pretty sure you'll definitely like all that love they put in those places. And like they say, it's not your mama's. Best chicken in the South. Want to give a shout out to all our guests, Scotty Borland of the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, Alyssa Orange of the Pig Trail Nation, and Otis Kirk of Hogville.net. For that'll do it. Tune in tomorrow as we'll make our way down to Razorback Stadium to bring you more coverage of Arkansas and Colorado State. Until then, for myself and for my producer, to you all, you guys have a blessed weekend. It's the A, presented to you by On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. You guys have a blessed one. And you know what I'm about to say. Let's get it.